From the city to rural North America, this is Rural America Live, connecting the people who grow America's food and fiber with those who enjoy it. Call in, let's talk. It's Rural America Live.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, then dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay, wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, and then painting from tractor back put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend the pink-combed pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer. It had to be somebody who'd plow deep and straight and not cut corners, somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk, somebody who'd bale a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing, who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Rural America Live. I'm your host, Mark Oppold. Ram trucks and the National FFA have had a long-standing partnership, decades long, benefiting FFA members, local chapters all across this country. That 2-minute video, narrated by the late Paul Harvey, was produced by Ram Trucks and aired, you remember, during the Super Bowl, January of 2013. The response overwhelming, and it launched the Year of the Farmer campaign by Ram Trucks. And when the year was over, Ram Trucks was able to donate over $1 million to the National FFA organization. A pleasure to welcome Ram Trucks and FFA to RFD-TV, FamilyNet, our network of stations and a network of listeners and viewers, including those of you watching and listening on Sirius XM Channel 80. During the next hour, we'll learn more about that Year of the Farmer campaign. We'll hear from another Ram Truck campaign about earlier this year called the Next Crop Project. It raised another $125,000 for FFA. We'll be hearing from Ram Truck dealers during the hour who have helped FFA chapters, and we'll hear from FFA chapter members and those advisors who have benefited directly from the partnership with Ram Trucks. And of course, opening our telephone lines to you to join our conversation later this hour. Joining me in studio for this special broadcast from Ram Trucks, Dave Sowers is the head of Ram Truck Marketing. From FFA, Dr. Dwight Armstrong, and he's CEO of National FFA Foundation, and from Tennessee, current state FFA President Kevin Robertson here as well. Welcome all of you to our special edition of tonight. Good to have you all here. Let's start with you, Dave. Good to have you here finally. You've been, those behind the scenes don't know, watching and listening, but we've been trying for a long time to get FFA and Ram Truck to our studios. We think highly of both of you, and it's finally here, so we hope it's a great hour for you. And talk a little bit about the history of Ram Trucks and FFA.
Well, first let me say it's a real honor to be here. Thank you for having us. We want to say thank you to RFD-TV for hosting both Ram and the FFA here on the show. We think it's a great opportunity to continue the conversation about agriculture today. So let me talk a little bit about the history.
Please.
We go way back with the FFA. One of the core things that we do as a brand is try to connect with our truck owners in the communities where they live and work. And part of that is working with the FFA. We've done that for over 60 years now. and the last 30 of which we've offered a scholarship program where we've given out over 600 scholarships to FFA ag students in the FFA program. But the reality is we've really ramped it up over the last 18 months, culminating with over $1.5 million of donations to the FFA.
Very good. We'll get back to that. Dr. Armstrong, visiting with you. Great to have you here with us as well. You know about our long association. In fact, you're well aware of our founder, Patrick Gotch, and his love for FFA. He says many times during the year, the highlight of his year is the FFA convention, clearing 30 hours of programming for gavel-to-gavel coverage of your convention. And it is a highlight for him, and so we're glad to have you here as well.
Well, Mark, thank you, and thanks to RFD-TV, and thanks to Ram Trucks for making this all possible. You know, Patrick Gotch, RFD-TV, Rural Radio are just absolutely critical to what FFA is all about. And I think, as you said it, the love that Patrick himself has for these young people, not only demonstrated with the convention and the radio show that we're doing, but also many, many other ways, like helping us with the Rose Parade several years ago when it brought FFA to a lot of viewers that would have never really realized what rural America and agriculture education and FFA is all about. And then even helping us with Native American celebration we did several years ago. And certainly I can't overlook all the many things he's done, but certainly, you know, $1 million gift that he gave us a year ago has made wonderful opportunities for FFA to grow and to reach out to reach more young people.
Well, he is here tonight and glad to have you here. And I know when we open the telephone lines, we'd like to hear from you. And perhaps you've been one of those that benefited from the association with Ram Trucks and FFA. Just to call in and give your thanks. Patrick would like to hear from you as well. And before we get too much further, Kevin, you were at one of those many conventions where Patrick was there, and you've had a chance to say hello in person as well.
Yes, that is exactly right. I remember being at National FFA convention and had the fortunate opportunity of watching Ram Trucks hand over a $1 million scholarship to my organization. And I think I can speak for the over 500,000 FFA members across the nation that was a moment that made our hearts swell with pride. And to know and understand that Ram Trucks shares the same passion and dedication for agriculture as we do is something that means a lot to all of us.
And Dwight, it all started back in 1928. A real quick history of those who may not be as familiar with the history of FFA. Well,
you know, back in 1928, the organization started as the Future Farmers of America. And over the years, that organization has evolved and changed. In 1969, we invited young women to join the organization, which now, if you look across the organization in leadership roles, they do an outstanding job. And certainly in 1988 is when the organization moved from a vocational agriculture Future Farmers of America to an agriculture education FFA organization with over 300 different careers in agriculture. And I think core to what we're about is our mission, to make a positive difference in the lives of young people by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agriculture education. And that last part's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have an example right next to you. Kevin, congratulations, by the way, on being elected president of the Tennessee Association. Tell us your background, because it's an interesting one that doesn't involve a 1,000-acre farm.
That's unfortunately true. I was not blessed to have been born on a 1,000-acre farm in the state of Tennessee. However, I grew up on a 1-acre piece of land in rural Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and was able to connect and find my home in FFA. And whenever I began high school, I thought that I was going to be on the varsity golf team and I was going to play golf throughout my 4 years of high school, and that was going to be the extent of my extracurricular activities. However, that unfortunately was not the case. I ended up not joining the golf team as much as I thought I would, and joined FFA and was fortunate to be elected Tennessee FFA state president this past year. And after graduation from high school, now I'm going to be studying at the University of Tennessee at Martin, where I'm going to be majoring in agriculture, business, and economics, so that I can hopefully become a lobbyist for American agriculture. And fun fact about me is that I actually want to become the governor of Tennessee one day.
Well, and you got a lot of votes in the conference room today from those that live in Tennessee, so I think you're on your way maybe to that goal. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, sir.
And Dwight, back to you. A lot of chapters where Kevin has come from and others we may hear from tonight, they would have a difficult time without the help of Ram Trucks.
Well, you know, we've highlighted here tonight to say special thanks to Ram Trucks for sure, and also RFD-TV. But we have many, many corporate sponsors out there that are helping us in the local communities, at the state level, and at National FFA. But in addition to that, there's a core of former FFA members, parents, booster clubs, alumni that surround those local chapters, because that's where all the action takes place. That's the life of FFA, is that local chapter. And so, you know, individuals need to reach out and give back to FFA because it made such a positive difference in their lives. So, you know, it's an opportunity for us to say thanks to our corporate sponsors, thanks to our individuals, and thanks for the many, many volunteers who helped us along the way.
Well said. And Dave, walk us through. We saw that tremendous. You never get tired of seeing Paul Harvey in that opening of our program. Walk us through the process that led to that happening at the Super Bowl in 2013.
Well, it's an interesting story. As I mentioned, we're always trying to connect with our core customers, and we had a genesis of an idea that really started with that Paul Harvey speech, which was originally delivered at an FFA convention in the 70s. And that idea kind of grew into an opportunity for maybe bigger exposure. That also happened to align in 2013 with a lot of things going on at the Ram brand with our products. We were launching an all-new light-duty truck with best-in-class fuel economy, an all-new heavy-duty truck with best-in-class capabilities, and we needed to spread the word. So we decided that this idea with the Paul Harvey speech could take a national stage. And we really invested behind that. If you think about taking 2 minutes of Super Bowl airtime, when 30 seconds is expensive, is a big deal. And then additionally, we tried to take a different tact with that. Obviously, Paul Harvey's voice and his pace of speech is going to be very different from the special effects and babies in space that you see on the other ads. But we took a tact where there was no moving pictures. It was all still photography, and there was no soundtrack. It was just his voice that played. And we think we really stood out amongst the ads that were there, and it was also really reaching out to that core audience that made us very proud. Now, there was an extension to that that said we were going to make a donation to the FFA based on the views of that video after the Super Bowl.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. So we expected, we had committed $100,000 for every million views, up to $1 million donation, and we expected that to take months. We actually achieved those views in 4 days.
And that's something.
And that's really thanks to the passion that exists within the FFA organization and the hard work that the member students put forth.
Now, Mr. Sowers, if you don't mind, as a member who has worn the jacket for 4 years now, why did you select FFA to be the recipient of this commercial?
Well, I think the answer to that is really a natural. I mentioned the 60-year history. I mentioned the fact that the Paul Harvey speech came from the FFA convention, but it was really an opportunity for us to give back. So we appreciate the opportunity to partner, and we really appreciated the opportunity to give back.
Wow, Kevin, thanks for asking. That's a great question. Why FFA? And it's just getting it's a long 60 years already, but as you say, we're really ramping it up right now. And Dwight, it had to be a special day. He mentioned what the check was at the end of 4 days when it actually came and it actually happened. Had to be a special day to receive $1 million from Ram Trucks.
You know, what's not to love about my job? You know, to work with outstanding young people like beside me here, and then have people like Ram Trucks step up and give us $1 million. First of all, it was awesome. You know, first of all, to be asked to be a part of a Super Bowl commercial, you know, was very exciting. But then to watch our members and our alumni and our teachers and our members push that information out and watching it click, it was really very exciting. Thanks for allowing us to do it. But the biggest part, it was the impact of the dollars that it made on FFA and what we're able to do at local, state, and national level.
It was our honor. We were glad to help.
And then the campaign also from that year, the farmer, inspired a concert tour by Easton Corbin. And tell us about that, if you would, how that all started.
Well, we wanted to be able to give back to the local chapters as well, and to create some grassroots effort between our dealers and the local FFA chapters. We were lucky enough to have an ex-FFA member in Easton Corbin who was passionate about it. One of the things that I really take away from it is that the indelible mark that the FFA left on someone like Easton Corbin. He's a successful recording artist with a busy schedule, and he was willing to take out time for 12 dates to go to local chapters and to give a private concert for those folks. And we really were amazed that he was willing to do that, and it shows what the FFA meant to him.
We have a little package that kind of shows how it all came together, so let's take a look.
Y'all come on, y'all follow me. Hey everybody, I'm Easton Corbin, and I'm partnering up with RAM and You're the Farmer campaign, following me on all 12 of my FFA visits around the country. I'm really sharing with them about my personal experience as an FFA member, and the really cool thing about it is I actually get to put on a private concert for them. And I know I'm all over the road, I can't help but go. I think the partnership between Easton Corbin and RAM for the Year of the Farmer movement is an incredible thing for the future of agriculture and the importance of agriculture in this country and people's understanding of that importance. That whole experience with the FFA had a part in shaping who I am, and I want to give back to an organization that gave something to me.
I think the fact that Easton Corbin used to be a Florida FFA member truly gets nearly 17,000 of us across the state that are involved with FFA truly excited for this event. Farmers are the thread of, I think, this country. They're out there in the scorching heat, in the rain, in the cold. That's really the fabric of America, I think. I'm all over the road. I'm just one of those guys that, I like to be going, and I don't think I could sit behind a desk. So I think this is a perfect job for me out here because I get to interact with people. I love to interact with people, especially my fans. Bring a little bit of happiness to some folks' life out here for a few minutes.
And also part of the whole campaign, Dave, was a book that you have with you called The Farmer in All of Us. Talk about that first of all.
So The Farmer in All of Us, an American Portrait, is an extension of what we did with the Super Bowl commercial. This is a compilation of the photographs from the 10 photographers we sent on the road that is an ode to the farmer that exists in all of us and the same values that we communicated in that Super Bowl spot. The proceeds from the sales of this book go back to the FFA and to the Gift of Blue, which is a program that buys the the blue corduroy jacket for the FFA members who might not otherwise be able to afford them, like the one that Kevin's wearing today.
And Kevin, you were talking about how passionate everybody is about the blue jacket. Real quick on that.
Yeah, well, the blue jacket was designed in 1933 by Gus Littner, and the passion and dedication that an FFA member feels whenever they put on a blue jacket is a sense of pride and tradition. And it's such an honor and such a privilege to watch another FFA member put on that jacket. And the Give the Gift of Blue campaign is something that is really making a difference across the nation to ensure that chapters like the McGavick FFA chapter right down the road from us are able to have jackets for their FFA members.
Very good. Thanks. It's called The Farmer in All of Us, and you can not only have the book, but help out some member who would need a blue jacket. Let's take a look and see how your dollars help. The Gift of Blue.
For 80 years, we have worn the jacket, corduroy blue, emblazoned with the FFA logo. It has been a part of every competition, every convention, every gathering. And over time, it has become more than fabric and thread. The blue jacket has become the unifying cornerstone of our organization. But not everyone can wear the jacket. Not because they don't deserve to, but because they cannot afford to. That's where you come in. When you give the gift of blue, you give a student the chance to wear a piece of history, a part of our unity, the blue jacket. You give the chance to feel the pride that comes with wearing this icon of American tradition, this symbol of our past, our present, and our future. To learn more or to make a donation, visit ffa.org/giveblue and help every member wear the FFA blue jacket and wear it well.
Again, donating there, and The Farmer in All of Us book that you can order, and we'll be showing you how you can do that. And again, proceeds going to help others get that blue jacket. Before we take a caller here, Dave, the next project was the Next Crop Project. Our dealer may be referring to that. Let's briefly talk about that with viewers and listeners.
So last year we declared the Year of the Farmer, and this year we needed to keep that going. We felt we had created some momentum, so therefore the Next Crop Project. And what we set forth with all the great products that we launched last year, the new great trucks, We wanted consumers to come experience those trucks, and we also wanted another opportunity to give back to the FFA. So we structured a promotion at roughly 100 dealers where they would invite in test drives, and for every test drive of a new Ram truck, we would make a donation to the local FFA and to the National FFA. And we achieved over 6,000 test drives.
Wow.
And made a donation of another $125,000 this year under the Next Crop Project.
Well, let's talk to Daryl Billings on our telephone right now, calling in, a dealer from Stanton, Kentucky. A good example. Daryl, thank you so much for joining us, and share your story with our viewers and listeners about your relationship and partnership with FFA.
Well, thank you so much for having us. And we have had a long-standing relationship with FFA, not just as a dealership, but it was nice to see Ram get involved on a national level. And when the Next Crop Project came along, we not only were concerned about whether or not we were going to do it or not, we were just concerned about how many dealers we were going to get to participate. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of dealers standing in line wanting to participate in the project. Ended up at my little store in a small community in Kentucky with almost 400 test drives on a Saturday afternoon. So it was really a great event. And Ram has always shared a lot of the common threads that are shared with the FFA. Hardworking, dependable, reliable, all those things that we preach at Ram Truck. It's just wonderful to see our association with the FFA just continue to grow and prosper on a local level. I serve on a state foundation FFA board, a former FFA state officer, so it gives me some real great warm fuzzy feelings to be able to not only participate as a Ram dealer, but to also participate as an ex-FFA guy who still tries to contribute on a yearly basis.
Mm-hmm. Daryl, can I ask a question? How important was your relationship, your business relationship and personal relationship to the local FFA chapter in your success with the Next Crop Project?
Well, I think it was very important. I think the relationship that we have forged over the years with not only with Ram but our dealership and our local FFA chapter, our FFA kids were very excited about be able to participate. They were excited about their association, not only with Ram, but with my dealership. They were excited about the Easton Corbin side of it. So a lot of great excitement that was created with our local chapter that actually expanded into our small community and really turned a small dealership on a Saturday afternoon to a real hot spot and a destination point. So it really was a great event for us. The Next Crop folks done a wonderful job in giving us all the information we needed, and the FFA folks just, I can't even begin to express what kind of event they created at my dealership on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, thank you, Mr. Billings. That story is very meaningful for a lot of FFA members around the nation.
And I would echo also on behalf of all the members across the country and also the members of the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. Thank you for what you're doing for FFA at the local and state and national level.
Oh, we're glad to do it. As a matter of fact, we're at the state convention now in Lexington. Have a foundation board meeting in the morning and getting ready to go tonight and participate in the last of our events tonight. So it's really just it's an amazing thing to watch. And I tell friends of mine all the time who have no idea what the FFA does and what we continue to try to do as an organization. As a Ram dealer, they don't understand my commitment to them. But if you ever have a problem and you ever think that the young people of our country are headed down a road that maybe we shouldn't be heading, come to a state FFA convention, go to a national FFA convention. You'll get a whole new sense of revitalization about the positive prospects of our youth, and the FFA is an integral part of that, and it's just really glad to be a part of that with Ram Truck as well.
All right. Daryl, thanks for calling tonight. I appreciate that. Great addition to the program, and good luck and continued success in Stanton, Kentucky. We're now joined by FFA advisor Jeff Moore. Jeff is FFA chapter in Nebraska, Holdridge High School, and we welcome you now. And welcome to our program to share your story, how the chapter was helped by our friends from Ram Trucks.
Well, thank you for having me on this evening. The support from Ram this last year has been very much appreciated, I know, by my chapter members, and we've had a lot of fun putting on the activities.
Yeah, maybe talk about some of the activities that made a difference for you there in Holdridge.
Well, our first activity, and I happened to be at school working right after Christmas break, was the Easton Corbin event. I was able to answer the phone and say, hey, we've got the facility to host this here let's do it. We were able to have about 400 FFA members from northern Kansas and obviously around the state of Nebraska. Some of them drove 3 or 4 hours to get to the event. For us to host that was really, really exciting. The kids got to have some fun. Some of them working behind the scenes backstage, doing the ticketing and kind of seeing what an event like that takes to coordinate and work with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jeff, it was great that you got to witness 2 of the activities of part of the Year of the Farmer and also the continuation of the Next Crop Project. So you benefited from both, but mainly I'd like to say thanks to you and thanks to all of our agriculture education teachers and FFA advisors out there, because you exemplify what it's all about. Thanks for doing what you do.
Well, I appreciate that on my part, and I know the advisors around our state appreciate the support that we get from Dodge, as well as the other FFA sponsors that really jump in, makes our programming and options and activities for kids more affordable and gives them more options, whether it's a leadership conference or to get them out, or sponsoring awards, which there's so many of them out there for these kids to apply for and get involved with, or the contest. It does make a difference. They don't see the direct dollars in front of their face helping them. Also, we're lucky enough, we hosted a Ram drive this spring. Our Dodge dealer helped us get that lined up. Kids had a lot of fun with that. She did a great job of partnering that with a ladies' day out there at the Black Motor there in Holdridge. So that helped a lot. Mm-hmm. We got to split that partnership with Wilcox Children's FFA chapter just down the road from us.
All right. Jeff, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And continued success in Holdridge, Nebraska as well. And with that, we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we'll be taking more phone calls from other dealers and FFA chapters. We want to hear from you as well. Maybe your experience, maybe a thank you to Ram Trucks, FFA member, opening our telephone lines right now to join our conversation. Toll free, 877-731-6733. Again, 877-731-6733. Rural America Live with Ram Trucks and FFA continues.
Today's agriculture industry is preparing to feed the world's growing population.
It's no small task, and we need strong leaders to succeed.
Through FFA, students are developing the necessary skills in order to meet the challenges of tomorrow's agriculture industry.
But in developing these skills, we need you.
Your donation to the National FFA Foundation can help us achieve our mission.
Help us meet these growing challenges by supporting the future of agriculture today.
And welcome back to Rural America Live with our guests from Ram Trucks and FFA. I'm Mark Oppold. It's been a great partnership for 60 years between these two organizations, and we're glad to have them in studio with us finally. And again, they never get tired of hearing Paul Harvey and seeing the great pictures that were taken across this great nation of our farmers and ranchers. Our telephone lines are open for you to join our conversation from here to the end of our program. Toll-free lines are open right now, 877-731-6733. Again, lines are toll-free, no matter if you're watching RFD-TV or listening on Sirius XM. The number is the same, 877-731-6733. Maybe your chapter has been helped by Ram Trucks, or you're a new Ram truck owner after a test drive in one of these campaigns and you're helping FFA. Let us hear from you at that number. And we are going to our telephone lines right now to Missouri. Our first caller, Lyle. Thank you for calling. Welcome.
Hello there.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to say thank you to RAM for everything they've done for the FFA scholarships and everything. My daughter, she...
Oh, we lost Lyle. Are you there? Try to call back, Lyle. We might have on a mobile phone, but I think we already get the quick gist of how important and how thankful people are, Dave.
I would really like to hear the story because, it's the...
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I think we're going to get him back.
The opportunity for us to help in individual circumstances, while in the end we might not be aware of those, right. It's still, we know the stories that come back, and it really makes a difference in our efforts to help the FFA.
I think we have Lyle back with us. Lyle, I'm sorry we lost you there for a minute. You were talking about your daughter and a scholarship, I believe.
Well, yeah, she's going to apply this year. She's a senior, and she was lucky enough to use part of Paul Harvey's speech in her speech. Because she's in communications, and she went on to the state level, and the amount of the knowledge that FFA has given these children is just outrageous. They took 4 girls that knew nothing about cows, went to the state level in judging, and it was all part of the work between RAM and FFA that they're really, I don't know how to put it, becoming knowledgeable about what's going on with the farmer and how difficult it is. And she's really become an ambassador towards that. And I want to thank RAM and FFA for that.
Well, thanks for the call. And they are here to take that thank you, and well-deserved. Again, so now you hear the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say,
there you go.
Of how it helped their family.
And you know, there's 2 interesting things there, and we're really glad we can help in circumstances like that. But one of the things Lyle also mentioned was the opportunity to elevate the conversation, both at the students level and at a national level. When you put something like Paul Harvey's speech on the Super Bowl and we start the conversation with the FFA, it raises awareness of agricultural issues nationwide.
And I think this last call-in is a perfect example of talking about ag literacy and helping these young people understand what agriculture and food is all about, and then being able to turn that into be advocates for this industry that we so much depend on every day for our livelihood.
Very good. And Kevin, a great example of your story. If people weren't with us at the beginning, you didn't grow up on a large farm or a farm at all.
That's true, and I can agree with your daughter there. I actually used Paul Harvey's speech in a state winning speech that I gave at Tennessee FFA State Convention, and it was actually about social media and encouraging people to utilize social media to spread agriculture literacy across this country. So a very relevant conversation there.
Very good. Again, if you are just joining us, our toll-free lines are open for you to talk to our friends from Ram Trucks or FFA, 877-731-6733. Let's go to Indiana for next. Darren, thanks for holding on, and you're up with our friends from FFA and Ram Trucks.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity to just thank both Dodge and the FFA. I am a former FFA president, and I also drive a Ram truck and have all my life, and I can't say enough good thing about the organization and the fact that we need to educate kids and grab as many of them as we can.
Now, the farm background for you, in your case, Darren, you were an FFA member in high school?
Yes, I was FFA member and president of our chapter, raised on about a 52-acre farm where we raise livestock and sheep, and I still continue to raise sheep.
So Darren, if you had to identify the single most important thing that you learned from your agricultural education FFA experience, what would that be?
Probably leadership and the ability to communicate, and my FFA advisor always taught us to be the very best that we can no matter what.
Wow. Yeah, I can agree with that as well. Our advisor at Wilson Central High School always emphasized our ability to be a public speaker and our ability to become premier leaders in our homes and our communities. So it's amazing the impact that FFA has.
All right, very good. Thanks for the call. We have a caller from Ohio. Yeah, you bet. Thank you. We have a caller from Ohio who is with us tonight. Go ahead. Oh, not there yet. Again, 877-731-6733 is our telephone number for you to join us. Again, toll free 877-731-6733. We'll also be hearing from another Ram dealer from a dealership in California, I hope later, and then also more chapters who have been helped around the country. And Dave, I'm sure you never get tired of hearing these stories of how these chapters really would have a hard time surviving and thriving without the help of Ram Trucks.
Well, and that's really where the privilege comes in, is the fact that we're helping this process to continue. It's the FFA that's helping the kids. We're just there to help them be there, to have more chapters, to have more activities, to be able to have more of the ag students go to the national convention and participate in programs. The Next Crop project that we initiated this year is going to benefit the FFA leadership programs, which we just heard about as being an important part of the education that they receive via the FFA.
And Dwight, you get those members that are from urban areas that are making up your membership as much as rural areas, and agribusiness opportunities are. In fact, I understand that there are not enough graduates from our colleges to fill some of the needs that agribusiness firms have out there.
Oh, there's no question. That talent pool is a critical area, and one of the most critical areas is to be an agriculture education teacher itself, because that is a key area that we need more of our young FFA members to consider, and that's a career to be an ag teacher. But I also wanted to mention, 10% of our members are in urban areas, 25% come from small towns or suburban areas, and 65% come from rural farm or rural non-farm. But this area in the suburban and the urban area is really growing, and a lot of these young people, we're in 18 of the 22 largest cities, downtown Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit. Opportunities for those young people to experience agri-science and STEM-related education is tremendous, in addition to the skills of leadership and being able to work in teams.
Looking to talk to you and continue our conversation tonight on Rural America Live, a special edition as we invite our friends from Ram Trucks to join us finally, and from the FFA, National FFA organization and the foundation as well. 877-731-6733, our telephone number. Now we have another caller on the line. This is Stephanie from Iowa. Stephanie, thanks for calling tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I just wanted to say we love our Ram truck. We have an 06 Dodge Ram Mega Cab, and it hauled Rick Santorum across the state of Iowa for the Iowa caucuses.
How about that? You have FFA in your background as well, Stephanie.
I do. I showed sheep at the Iowa State Fair, so it was quite an experience.
Well, there's a satisfied customer out there in Iowa maybe before 2006. That's what they have right now. They need to get one of those new ones, don't they?
Yeah, we talked about the great capabilities of the new truck. 30,000 pounds of towing in our new trucks. I had no idea they could haul presidential hopefuls.
Yeah. Very good.
Add that to your list.
That's right.
Thanks for the call, Stephanie, and best of luck to you in the state of Iowa. Great state, very close to me as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about this later, but where can viewers and listeners learn more about the great line of trucks that Ram has to offer?
Well, I'll give you two great sources. One that's right there in your living room, and that's over the web at ramtrucks.com. We have all of our great products listed there, from light duty to heavy duty. Our chassis cabs, which are featured in the Paul Harvey commercial that we aired, and are featured on many farms across the middle of the country as well. All those products are there on our website. And another great place is in your hometown at your local Ram dealer. They're going to have a great selection of products and can answer a lot of your questions. And
that leads us over to Dwight, to you, and how our listeners and viewers, hopefully they're touched by what they're seeing and hearing and may want to help out. And there's ways that they can do that.
I think one of the key things that I'd want to say is for anyone that's out there listening and have experienced either FFA and ag education for themselves or observed someone benefiting from it, that your help is needed, because there are so many young people that still don't have the opportunity, and there's so many young people that still can't afford some of the jacket or participation. But I'd also like to shout out that there's many people out there working. There's state foundations. Many of the states have their own foundation working hard. Many of the local chapters have alumni groups that's helping them raise money and put on functions and activities. So I would encourage you to consider giving to FFA at all levels, at your local level, at your state level, and certainly at the national. And all gifts are welcomed and certainly much appreciated to make this positive difference.
And there are a lot of ways to get involved. I'm going to get back to you on that. We're going to hold that several ways, and you made some great points today. But we have Katie Nelson on the line here. She is with a dealership in California who has also helped FFA chapters in the local area. Katie, welcome. She's Marketing Director, Hunter Ram Dealership, Lancaster, California to be exact. Katie, welcome. Good to hear from you tonight.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
Please, tell us your story.
Well, and I want to thank Dave, too, and everybody at Ram for creating the Next Crop project, because that allows us as a local dealer to connect with the local FFA program, and that's exactly what it did. When we got involved with the local FFA chapters, there was 3 different chapters that we were involved with, and we did the test drives and raised money, and we were allowed to, gave us the opportunity to get out there in the community and interact with them on a one-on-one basis and build that relationship. And it's an amazing program.
Katie, thanks for your quick summary there. Was there anything in particular that one of your chapters might have benefited from?
Well, actually, after the test drive, between the time that we did the test drives and the fundraising to the check presentation, one of the local chapters actually had a fire at their facility, and it destroyed their agricultural building. So at the time that we were doing the check presentation, not only did we give the money that we raised from the test drives, we actually, the owners, Tom and Tim Fuller, actually doubled that and matched those funds to help repair from the damage of the fire. It was amazing.
Well, Katie, that is amazing, and I think that's what we see all across the country is anytime the young people step forth and are engaged with their local community and their local dealerships, positive things happen.
And what do you think about that as the state president here? And again, a great example out there, Kevin, as you hear these stories from across the country.
Absolutely. The Lincoln County FFA chapter in the mid-state of Tennessee actually experienced some pretty horrific tornadoes earlier this year, and we got to see local FFA chapters really come out of their shells and help this chapter rebuild the houses of these FFA members. So to see Dodge Ram come out and really want to help another FFA chapter and help people who are in need is really heartwarming and shows that they have a similar passion and dedication as we do here in FFA.
All right. Katie, thanks for joining us from California. Appreciate that, and a very important part of our program. Before we take a break here, Dave, back to you. We mentioned there are several ways that you call it that our listeners and viewers can get involved and help.
Yeah, and you don't have to just rely on RAM to do it. There's an opportunity there for everybody to get involved. A simple way would be to go online or go to a local bookseller to get the book that we're offering, which is The Farmer and All of Us. And those proceeds go back to the FFA. You can also get involved and talk to your local RAM dealer and find out if they're partnered with the FFA chapter in their town and what they're doing. And then ultimately, you can also make a direct donation to the FFA.
Very good. Before we take a break, we are going to go to one more caller, and that is Andrea from Ohio. Andrea, thanks for joining our program tonight.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you to the FFA organization and Ram Trucks. As a recently elected state officer, I realize how much that jacket has given me. And I know that when you put that jacket on the first time, it means so much. So to be able to help others get that jacket for the first time, because even once that jacket comes off, those collars don't fade. They stay with you, and they help make you who you are. So thank you.
Wow, well said. Sounds like she could make a speech out of that, Kevin.
Absolutely. I remember a few years ago we had the FFA theme of blue jackets and gold standards, and it's pretty apparent that FFA members and state officers from across the nation are exemplifying that ability across the entire nation.
And starting this week, we have a series of week-long conferences in Washington, D.C. called Washington Leadership Conference. And many of our sponsors have helped support that. But that's where these blue jackets, about 2,000 FFA members will be in Washington over the next 7 weeks. So they'll see a little bit of FFA also.
Very good. All right. And with that, we're going to take our final break. We come back, more of your telephone calls, final thoughts from Dave and Dwight and Kevin as well. And we go to break, we learn more about what's going on with FFA alumni.
As a former member, we know that you've been where every FFA member has been before.
Wondering, how exactly do we fill out this application?
What should you do for your supervised agricultural experience?
What is an agriculture class?
Today, you offer us advice and guidance.
You show us a different perspective, allowing us to develop our potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success.
Thank you for all that you do.
Welcome back to this special edition of Rural America Live with Ram Trucks and National FFA Organization and Foundation. And we look forward to hearing from you. Our telephone line's open just for a few more minutes. Don't lose out. We'd love to hear from you, especially if you're an FFA member or you've been one of those chapters who have benefited, or you are a new owner of a Ram truck. Love to hear from you as well. 877-731-6733. Arkansas for our next caller. This is Jennifer. Jennifer, thanks for holding on through the break.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Just fine. Thanks for calling.
I just wanted to thank Ram Trucks for everything that they do for the FFA organization. And I also want to thank FFA for everything that they have done for my daughter. It is amazing what a wonderful young woman she is turning into, and the accomplishments that she has had through FFA. And lastly, I just want to say these FFA members are family. These kids truly love one another and look out for one another. And it's just amazing. I'm just amazed by all of it. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, maybe Dwight or Dave or Kevin have a question or a comment for you to follow up.
My comment back to Jennifer, thank you for giving us a lot of credit, but I think Mom probably had a little bit to do with the outstanding young lady that's in her household too.
Yeah.
You know, it's great to hear the emotion in Jennifer's voice and what it really means to her family and the larger FFA family, where the educational opportunities come in.
You know, Jennifer, one of the things that Dave or Dwight asked earlier is there one thing that sticks out to you? What maybe the biggest change in your daughter you might want to share with other viewers and listeners? I'm not sure Jennifer's there, but I'm sure, Kevin, if we ask you that question, I don't know, maybe you were a shy person. I know you wanted to be a golfer, you said earlier.
Well, I fortunately was not given the hindrance of being shy. I played the banjo from a very early age and played on the National FFA convention stage a few years ago, so shyness wasn't really a problem, but that was whenever a banjo was in my hand. Public speaking, however, was a totally different matter. And FFA, from my opening and closing ceremonies practice to creed, and then eventually going on to extemporaneous public speaking, truly molded me into the person that I am today. And like she was saying, the brotherhood and family that you feel in this organization is just unmatched.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to Tennessee as we look at some of the FFA convention video. And convention seems like one's better than the other every year. You can't get any better, but it seems like it always does. Haley from Tennessee, thanks for holding on, and you're up next.
Hey, I'd like to thank the Ram trucks for supporting the FFA. I love y'all so much. My dad actually owns a Dodge Ram truck, and I love it. It's been all over the world. And Kevin, you are such a great role model. You know me. I'm Haley Hodges from the Portland FFA chapter.
What is up,
Me and
Haley?
you went to Washington Leadership Conference together.
Absolutely. Wow.
And I love having you as our Tennessee State president, and I love having Ram Truck's support. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.
Haley, thank you very much.
Yeah, very nice.
Dwight, we have just a few minutes left here, and we're going to have final thoughts, but we want to make sure that kind of cover we've seen some shots of the convention. Maybe just give us a little glimpse of what's going to happen here in 2014.
Well, you know, we had record membership in 2013, and our preliminary numbers, I can't give you a number yet, but it looks like we'll have a record number again this year. Last year at convention, too shy of 63,000 people. So teams are very busy preparing. The Louisville team is very busy. And so we're really looking forward to it.
Then the dates there, and again, those of you listening and watching our program tonight, you can count on gavel-to-gavel coverage, October 29th through November the 1st, Kentucky Expo Center in Louisville. It's the 87th National FFA Convention and Expo. Gavel-to-gavel coverage right here. RFD-TV, Rural Radio will be there as well. Orion Samuelson, a fixture for I'm not sure how many years Orion's been there, but he wouldn't miss it either. All right, we have a call, Landon from Colorado. Landon, thanks for calling in. You're up next.
Well, good evening, everybody. I actually served as a national officer a couple years ago from 2010 to 2011, and I would just like to thank Dodge Ram for everything that they do for our organization. I know that they were a big sponsor when I was a national officer, and I got to travel across the United States and speak to lots of FFA members, and although I'm no longer an FFA because I've aged out, it is still the organization that's impacted me the most and prepared me for the rest of my life. And I just like to say, you know, I'm visually impaired, so I can't see to drive. But when that Dodge commercial came on during the Super Bowl, I put a post on Facebook, and I said, if I could see to drive, I'd drive a Dodge. And I got over 500 likes on Facebook. And so I just know that Dodge has the same values and beliefs as FFA, and they're doing lots of things that impact our members each and every day through their support. So I'd like to thank them.
Landon, how are you, young man? It's good to hear from you.
It's good to hear from you, Dr. Armstrong. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you for what all you've done and continue. But I would correct you with one thing, and that is you still are an FFA member because you're an alumni member.
That's exactly right. I've moved on to that next phase, that next type of membership. And I'd just like to tell everybody out there, if you're not an alumni, you can be. You don't even have to be a former member to be an alumni member. So join FFA Alumni. It's a great way to give back and support the current FFA members that are students.
Very good. Thank you very much, Landon. Again, a great example of the membership here that he shares with us. Real quick, we're going to come down the line, but you, the $1 million, you said, Mark, I want to make sure people understand that we have places for every single dollar.
Absolutely. Well, when RAM brought us that $1 million check, part of what they wanted those dollars to go for was our Feeding the World Starting at Home. And that initiative has really helped put grants out to our individual chapters to make a difference in their communities around looking at the local face of hunger and helping solve this global hunger area. So thanks for your help of feeding our world starting at home.
We are glad to be in a place to help.
Very good. Well, with that, we said the hour was going to go fast. I think you'll agree that it has been a fast hour. We thank those of you that have been able to call in and share your stories, and their thanks to Ram Trucks and FFA. Come down the line here with closing thoughts. Kevin Robertson, good to have you here. Congratulations once again. I know it's going to be a fast year as state FFA president of Tennessee. Your closing thoughts for viewers and listeners.
I just want to say thank you so much to RAM for your support of our organization. Obviously, from the phone calls that we've heard tonight and the stories that we've heard, people are truly influenced by the money that you're giving. And as you were speaking about hunger relief, people don't understand that we have until the year 2050 to feed as many people as we have to grow as much food as has ever been cultivated in the history of mankind. So thank you yet again, and thank you to FFA for everything that you've done for me.
All right, very good. Dr. Dwight Armstrong, good to have you here in person. Great association with RFD-TV for all these years. Your final thoughts.
Well, Mark, thank you. And it's a pleasure to have this young man beside us here. You know, he just graduated from high school. So remarkable.
Unbelievable,
and thank you, young man, for what
done
you did.
tonight.
Thanks to RFD-TV for making it possible. Ram, thanks to you. And thanks for allowing us on this great journey that you've had of the Year of the Farmer and now continuing. It's been fun, and I will just tell you that the impact has been tremendous. Thank you.
And Dave, you have the last word. Great to have you here. You had listeners and viewers don't know, but it took you a little while to get here with the planes and everything, but you're here, you've been here, it's a great hour. Sharing your final thoughts, please.
Well, I will tell you that we didn't know exactly the impact we were going to have when we started this Year of the Farmer at the beginning of 2013. But it was so successful that we've had to roll it into 2014 and continue with the Next Crop Project. You know, it's been an honor for us to be here on the air today. I want to remind everybody out there to call us Ram now. We left the Dodge nomenclature for the car guys, so it's all Ram trucks all the time.
Amen.
And again, thanks to RFD-TV for having us on. Thanks to the FFA, and it's been a real honor.
We have the book in front of us, The Farmer in All of Us. We have just a few seconds to remind folks they can buy the book, and they can. Some of the proceeds will go to those blue jackets. So every single member has a blue jacket in the country. Tell us where they can get that book, Dave.
Once again, you can get that book at ramtrucks.com/outfitter. You can get it on Amazon or at your local bookseller.
And I would just add that we've been able to put almost 300 jackets on the backs of FFA members that couldn't afford them otherwise because of not only RAM support, but many, many other people who have given to the Gift of Blue.
Very good. Wow, with that, it's been a great, great hour. And the Farmer in All of Us, there is again members at their convention coming up again this fall. You can see and hear gavel-to-gavel coverage right here on RFD-TV once again and Rural Radio as well. So with that, we thank you for joining us in the special edition of Rural America Live with Ram Trucks, National FFA. For information, visit ffa.org and ramtrucks.com. Good night from Rural America's most important network.